Hey guys, in this video, we'll be reviewing the WellPro PP-19-01, or the Vityaz. This is a really cool replica that just came out recently, and surprisingly is not being talked about all that much. WellPro is somewhat new to the market, so let's see if they're any good.
Weighing in at 5 pounds and 9 ounces, or 2.52 kilograms, the entire receiver is made out of steel. As a matter of fact, let's check what parts are steel. As I said before, the receiver is steel, the pins are also steel, the mag release, mag well pins, trigger guard, folding stock button, entirety of the selector, dust cover but not the rail on it. Okay, everything that should be steel here is steel. Same goes for the front. Let's just say everything that is supposed to be steel is made out of steel on this replica. The polymer handguards feel solid, so there's no flex anywhere, and it's pretty comfortable for your hands. You also have a mount for side rails if you want to use that instead of the top rail for whatever reason. The triangle stock is really nice, it's at a good length, and doesn't wobble at all. It's also foldable. However, the locking system is not true to the real steel. It's using the folding system from the AK-12. Due to this, the back of the receiver has the protrusion for the stock to lock, which means you won't be able to use a lot of AK stocks without permanent modification to the retainer of the stock. The stock of the Vityaz is supposed to have an extra tab, and it's supposed to lock onto this extended barrel pin. It wouldn't work for this design, as they turned this barrel pin into the hop adjustment. Although it's super convenient, you do lose a lot of realism. I guess it is possible to get the correct stock and modify it to fit, but since the barrel nut that it locks onto is the hop adjustment, you risk unwanted adjustment to your hop up. Anyways, let's move on. The AK iron sights are replicated well, with windage adjustment up to 20 meters. The controls look great. There is a sling point on the right side of the stock and left side of the handguard retainer. The markings look pretty good. I wouldn't know their authenticity though. Let's see how well the finish stands up against a flathead. It's pretty strong. I'm trying to scratch the finish, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. I'm gonna try the dust cover. Looks like it's just slightly weaker, with me being able to barely expose a small amount of bare metal. Wow, that's a strong and good looking finish. It just gives an AK vibe when you're looking at it. The included Vityaz flash hider is steel. It really completes the small AK look. There are 14mm negative threadings for any muzzle device you might want. Overall, the externals are awesome. My one and only complaint is the folding stock system. Other than that, it's perfect. The replica has a nice weight to it, and it feels solid like an AK should. Let's check out the internals. To disassemble for repairs and maintenance, push the dust cover button in and lift the dust cover up. Now slide out the recoil spring and bolt carrier. Removing the handguard is optional. Internally, the fire control group is said to be a clone of the TM-AK design. Whether it's one-to-one with compatible parts or not, I don't know. Since I am a broke college student with barely any free time and money, I won't be able to test this. The bolt carrier is polyaluminum, it weighs 252 grams, and it includes an end pass out of the box. After over 3.5 thousand cycles, the fire control group is wearing in quite well, with no concerning parts wear. The front of the bolt did have some gnarly wear, but it's fine now, and everywhere else has barely any wear. Other than that, I haven't noticed any weird design decisions or concernable wear. The hop-up can be adjusted here. The adjustments are very clicky, which is nice. To get to the hop-up, remove the handguard if you haven't already, then remove the screw near the magwell. Now punch out these two roll pins on the trunnion. Then the trunnion can be slid forward. Remove these two screws on the top here. Fair warning, one of these screws on mine is stripped immediately upon me barely touching it, so be real careful. How did I get that screw out? Once those screws are removed, you can take the outer barrel off. Now you can wiggle the hop-up out through the back. Remove this screw holding the adjustment arm. Now just two more screws on the chamber will give you access to the guts. Internally, this is a 155mm brass inner barrel, and it is compatible with normal GBB spec buckings and inner barrels. I like the hop design. It's very simple with few moving parts, so less things to affect the accuracy, which you will see in the groupings later on. To get to the nozzle, remove this hex screw in the front first, then remove another in the back. Once those are out, everything will come out. That was really easy. I like the design here. It's very simple to change out or fix any parts, if they happen to break. WellPro advertises this replica as being compatible with real steel furniture, so let's test that. And yep, the TDI Arms handguard fits really nicely. These are also pretty cheap and often seen used by the Russians, so that's pretty cool. The 5KU replica of the Zenico B10M was a different story. The front needed some major fouling, and a custom retainer had to be made from 3D printing. I recommend using Superloop PTFE for smoother operation and to lessen wear. Also, huge props to WellPro for including a manual with a parts diagram, and a barrel cleaner, and different hop-up adjustment tools, and dry firing tab with the gun. Well done, WellPro. See what I did there? The magazine weighs 568 grams empty and can hold 38 rounds. Surprisingly, these can hold up to 28 grams of gas. I usually only load 36 BBs and 20 grams of gas though. These mags can be loaded with the included speed loader and adapter. You will need to push the switch in the back down after loading BBs. These are a bit heavy, and the front opening can induce a jam if dirt gets inside. I heard the newer magazine batches won't have the front opening. WellPro, please send me some of those when you're done with them. Thanks. The magazine release is just like any other AK, but if you don't keep holding it down while pulling the mag out, it will catch on the valve and release gas. This is pretty annoying, but you will get used to holding it down while pulling the mag out. The selector is done well. Just like any AK, you will need to use your shooting hand to actuate it. The charging handle is on the right side. The bolt travels pretty smooth, with the distance being almost 70% to full travel. The trigger is okay. It's a somewhat long travel up to a really light but noticeable wall. It does reset with an audible click. To fold the stock, press this button. To unfold the stock, press this tab down, which will unlock the stock to fold it back in. With 28 grams of gas in the magazine, the replica was able to fire off 170 shots at room temperature. This is just a little over 6 shots per gram of propane. I'd let the magazine heat back up after each load of mag, and my shooting cadence was random. That's nearly 5 mags of 35 rounds for one full fill of gas, albeit a little overfilled. Well done, WellPro. At normal gas blowback temperatures, this bad boy will work pretty well. At around 40 Fahrenheit, the replica has slowed down a bit, but it's definitely usable. The kick is really nice. It's different to many replicas as the recoil impulse is somewhat snappy and slow at the same time, while also being a heavy thump in your shoulder. It's really fun to use. Let's see how the recoil and sound compares to other replicas. at around 100 feet out, the groupings are pretty good. The hop-up is really convenient to adjust, but it can be quite sensitive, as one click of adjustment is enough to send a BB to the moon. I would chalk some of these random outliers out to be my fault. Since there wasn't any wind, these different weights perform pretty similar to each other, except for .2s. I'd still recommend using the heaviest BBs you can though.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
With .2s, the FPS averaged at 340.7 or 103.6 meters per second. That's 1.07 joules. Since this replica does come with a end pass out of the box, I won't bother to test different readings for other BB weights. This replica does tend to be pretty loud, so I'd recommend wearing some kind of earbuds while using it to protect your hearing. Let's start with the pros. It has good externals, TM-based fire control group, easy nozzle access, comes with end pass out of the box, easy hop-up adjustment, surprisingly really good gas efficiency, good cold temperature performance, good groupings, strong recoil, and it's 1-to-1, being compatible with many real steel furniture. Can you guess what I will be complaining about? The stock locking system is not true to the real Vityaz, copying the AK-12 locking design. Therefore, it's not compatible with a lot if not all traditional stocks. Outer barrel retaining screw is made out of cheese, and the magazines are heavy and they have openings in the front. Overall, I'm extremely impressed. WellPro is somewhat new to the market, so I'm really happy to see them come out with a really unique product that works extremely well. But it's not perfect. The stock locking system is a big compromise, and the cheese screws was annoying to deal with, and the magazines can be better. But with everything being considered, I think it's a great replica that is unique in the market with great performance. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment with your thoughts or question below to feed the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you like my content. Thanks for watching.